Top 10 Most Bizarre Celebrity Coincidences. Most, if not all of us, have experienced some sort of coincidence in our lives. Maybe you said something at the same time as somebody else, or perhaps you bumped into an old friend in the most unlikely of places. But there are those funny little would you believe it type of coincidences and plot twists. And then there are those holy crap, that is literally unbelievable types of coincidences. Welcome to Max 10 channel. You won't want to miss number 1, so make sure you stay until the end. Kindly subscribe to the channel and click on the bell button. Number 10. The separated twins with the almost identical lives. A set of twins from Ohio who were separated at birth grew up without any knowledge of each other's existence. Their lives did, however, share a number of strange similarities. They were both named James on their adoptions, they both grew up to be police officers, and both of them married women named Linda. But that's not all. Each had a son, one named James Allen and the other one named James Allen. And each also had a dog named Toy. Both brothers later got divorced and both ended up remarrying women named Betty. Number 9. Mark Twain predicted his own death. Did the famous writer Mark Twain predict his own death? Well, if he didn't, then it was a major coincidence. The writer was born in the year 1835 when Halley's Comet was passing the Earth. It only passes once every 76 years or so, but Twain predicted that he would die on its next passing. I came in with Halley's Comet in 1835, he said in 1909. It is coming again next year and I expect to go out with it. The writer died on the very day of its appearance in 1910. Number 8. Miss Unsinkable. Depending on how you look at it, Violet Jessup was either one seriously lucky lady or she was one seriously bad omen. The stewardess and nurse was on the HMS Olympic when it struck the HMS Hawk. She was on board the HMS Britannic when it sank after hitting a sea mine, and she was also traveling on the RMS Titanic when it sank after hitting an iceberg in the North Atlantic. No wonder she later became known as Miss Unsinkable. Number 7. The Case of Anthony Hopkins, and a rather rare book. When Anthony Hopkins was preparing for his role in The Girl from Petrovka, he wanted to find a version of the book written by George Pfeiffer, so he could study it before filming began. But wherever he looked, he couldn't find a copy, until one day, while sitting on the subway, he found a copy on the carriage in which he was traveling. But that's not the end, because when Hopkins later met the author, Pfeiffer told him that he also didn't have a copy of the book. Why? Because he'd lent his last one to a friend who had accidentally lost it on the subway. Number 6. Coincidence or reincarceration. The founder of the Ferrari company, Enzo Ferrari, died on August 14, 1988. Just a month later, on October 5th, Arsenal footballer Mesut Ozil was born. Take a look at their pictures side by side. Massive coincidence or proof of reincarnation? You decide. Number 5. The Simpsons predicted Trump for president way back in 2000. The Simpsons has been known to accurately predict all sorts of things, but maybe their most impressive prediction of all, and also the most relevant right now and depressing, was guessing that Donald Trump would become president. We didn't see it coming. You didn't see it coming. But the Simpsons definitely saw it coming way back in the year 2000. Although the pictures featured here are from the 2015 episode. Either that, or it's one seriously creepy coincidence. Number 4. The Dutch cyclist who escaped 2 plane crashes. Believe it or not, Dutch cyclist Martin de Jong has escaped not 1 but 2 major plane crashes in his life. Not only was he supposed to be on board missing Malaysia Airlines flight 370 before deciding to take a flight that departed an hour earlier, he was also supposed to fly on Malaysia Airlines Flight 17, the one that was shot down over Ukraine in 2014, before changing to a different flight in order to save money. Number 3. The man who predicted the sinking of the Titanic. 14 years before the Titanic sank, in 1898, Morgan Robertson, a fantasy writer from the US, wrote about a sinking ship in a novel called Futility. The ship in the book was called the Titan, but that's not the end of the similarities. For example, like the real Titanic, the Titan was described as unsinkable. They also both had insufficient lifeboats, and they both collided with icebergs in the North Atlantic. Number 2. The strange coincidences between Lincoln and Kennedy. Two of America's presidents, namely Abraham Lincoln and John F. Kennedy, share a multitude of barely believable coincidences. Both were killed from gunshot wounds to the back of the head. Both died on a Friday. Both died before a celebration. Kennedy was assassinated on the eve of Thanksgiving. Lincoln was killed right before Easter. And each one of them were accompanied by their wife and other couple. But there's more. Both had a friend called Billy Graham. Both had 4 children. Both had secretaries named after the other. Kennedy's secretary was called Mrs. Lincoln, while Lincoln's secretary was called John. And both of their successors were vice presidents called Johnson. Bonus: American in Paris survives Batclan attack at 9/11. An American named Matthew survived last year's terrorist attack on the Batclan Theater in Paris by playing dead after being shot. What's even more amazing is that 14 years earlier, on September 11, 2001, he narrowly avoided another terrorist attack when a United Airlines plane struck one of the Twin Towers while he was passing the building on his way to a meeting. Number 1. The first and last soldiers from World War I. The first and last British soldiers killed in the First World War are buried in Belgium's St. Symphorien Cemetery. Their graves are located just 6 meters apart and their headstones face each other, which is a major coincidence considering that this arrangement was not at all planned. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to click the like button, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to keep up to date with all of our future amazing videos.